But if you have some big Aries placements in your chart, I'm willing to bet you feel like the air is vibrating a little differently this time.
Oh, it's definitely not business as usual. We've been looking at a massive stack of forecasts, planetary almanacs, and astrological data, all for Aries, and the consensus is pretty startling. If the last few years felt like a dress rehearsal, a bit chaotic, maybe a little stop and start, then 2026 is, without a doubt, opening night.
Opening night, I love that. The house lights are down, the curtain is coming up, but let's be real, horoscopes always promise big changes. So what makes this deep dive different? We aren't just telling you you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger. The sources we're looking at are calling this an identity revolution. That sounds intense.
It is intense, but in like the most productive way possible. The materials we're deep diving into today describe this year as a great reset, and that's not just some buzzword. Astrologically, we are looking at a cosmic event with Saturn and Neptune that hasn't happened in this specific way in almost 170 years.
170 years. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because when you hear Great Reset, it can sound a little intimidating. But the sources are also calling you, the listener, a spiritual warrior. So what is actually happening in the sky that makes this year so pivotal for Aries?
So it all centers on two planetary heavyweights, Saturn and Neptune. And the headline here, the thing you need to underline in your mental notebook, is that they are meeting. They're forming a conjunction right at 0 degrees of Aries.
0 degrees Aries, that's the Aries point, isn't it? The absolute starting line of the entire zodiac.
Exactly. It represents the first spark of life, the Big Bang moment of the astrological wheel. And you have to understand the personalities of these two planets to get why this is such a big deal. Saturn is lander. He's the taskmaster. He is structure, discipline, reality, concrete walls. Saturn creates boundaries.
Okay, so Saturn's the strict architect, and Neptune.
Neptune is the complete opposite. It's the ocean. It's dreams, illusion, spirituality. It dissolves boundaries. It's the mist that obscures the view.
So you have the rock and the water just crashing into each other.
Precisely. And they are doing it in the sign of Aries, which is the sign of I am, the sign of identity. So for you listening, this isn't just about external events. This means the old you, the structures you built, the masks you wore, the defenses you put up to survive the last decade. They are being dissolved by Neptune. But Saturn is right there to force you to build something real, something solid in its place.
So it's like a renovation project where you don't just paint the wall, you strip the house down to the studs.
Or even down to the foundation. The source material really emphasizes that this is a time to strip away fake layers. If you've been apologizing for who you are or playing some role to please your family or your boss, that ability is it's going to dissolve. You literally won't be able to fake it anymore. You are being asked to build a new identity from scratch.
Wow. That's the identity revolution. And it's fascinating that this is happening in 2026 specifically. I saw a note in the research about numerology too. Does that actually line up?
It lines up perfectly. 2026 breaks down numerology to a 1 year. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So you have this double one energy. It is the year of initiation.
So everything is just pointing to new start, new self, new rules. It feels like the universe is shouting, go.
Go, but with a pretty big caveat. And this is crucial. Remember, we just started the year right now in January with Mars in Capricorn. Mars is the ruling planet for Aries, so it's your boss. And in Capricorn, Mars is what astrologers call exalted.
Meaning it's happy there, functioning well.
Meaning it is functioning at its absolute highest power. It's not just running around frantically breaking things. It's running with a plan. It's high-octane ambition. But because Saturn is involved in this great reset, the theme for the whole year is discipline over impulse.
Which is, let's be honest, that is hard for Aries. Aries loves impulse. Aries wants to jump off the cliff and build the parachute on the way down.
Not this year. If you jump without a plan this year, you just hit the ground. The source is very specific. You are the architect of your new reality. And architects don't just throw bricks around. They have a blueprint. The message is no more waiting to be rescued. You have to do the work.
Okay, so we've established that the who am I question is getting a major answer this year. But let's talk about the what do I get question. Let's talk career and money. Because the sources describe the financial landscape for Aries in 2026 as a roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster, but if you know where the drops are, you can enjoy the ride. The financial outlook is actually very strong, but it comes with a warning label. The good news comes from Rahu, that's the North Node, which is sitting in your 11th house of games until December.
The 11th house of games, that sounds like a very good place to hang out.
It's the best place for Rahu. Rahu represents this, like, insatiable appetite for more.
Mm.
When it's in the house of gains and networking and digital expansion, well, it creates these massive opportunities for sudden income spikes.
And the source specifically mentioned digital expansion, side hustles.
Yes, this is 2026. If you have an online presence or if you've been thinking about monetizing a hobby, maybe starting that consulting gig or selling your art online, the advice is to do it aggressively. Now, don't wait. The universe is practically begging you to network and expand that digital footprint.
Okay, so the money is coming in. What's the catch? Why a roller coaster?
The catch is our friend Saturn again. While Rahu is bringing money in the front door, Saturn is lurking in the 12th house and moving into the first, which often signals 12th house losses or just expenses.
So the money comes in, but the car breaks down or the roof leaks, that kind of thing.
Old debts come due or, a health issue requires spending. The 12th house is the house of things that are hidden, so the expenses might be unexpected. You get a bonus, but then you get a tax bill you didn't see coming.
So the strategy isn't make it rain.
No, the strategy is build the dam. The source is very explicit here. Do not spend your earnings on flashy items to impress people. That is the trap. You need to build a cushion because while the income potential is high, especially in the first half of the year, the expenses are just as real.
And speaking of timing, are there specific moments we should be looking at for that income boost?
March. Circle March on your calendar. Highlight it in neon. We see a stack up of planets in that sector of gains. That is your window to really push for revenue. Make your money in the first half of the year.
Because later in the year, the vibe changes.
It shifts. After June, Jupiter moves. And this is actually a really beautiful transition. It moves to support creative leadership. You graduate from being the worker bee hustling for gigs to the queen or king of the jungle. It becomes less about the hustle and more about authority.
That sounds like a promotion. Or stepping into a CEO role where you're directing the vision rather than, laying the bricks yourself.
Exactly. But you need the financial cushion from the spring to support that elevation in the summer and fall. You can't lead effectively if you're stressed about rent.
Okay, let's pivot. We've covered identity. We've covered the bank account. Let's talk about the heart, love, and relationships. The source material calls this a tale of two halves.
It really is. It's like night and day. If you look at the first half of the year, January through June, Jupiter is in Cancer.
Cancer, the homebody, crab energy.
Very domestic. For an Aries, this might feel a little bit slower than usual, but it's deeply nurturing. The focus is on the home, moving, renovating, deepening family bonds. It's all about feeling safe and cozy.
So, Netflix and chill.
Basically, it's a nesting phase. You're building that safe base, buying the nice throw pillows. But then, June 30th hits.
What happens on June 30th?
Jupiter enters Leo, and Leo is your 5th house of true love, romance, and passion.
Leo. Leo is the performer, the drama in a good way.
It's the summer of love. The energy shifts from cozy sweatpants to the red carpet. The source says confidence will skyrocket. If you are single, you become magnetic. You aren't looking for love. Love is looking for you.
And if you're already in a relationship,
The spark returns. But not just a little flicker, it's theatrical. Big gestures, rediscovering the fun. It's a very, very electric time.
but of course there's always a however in astrology. We have a warning for the fall.
We do. October 3rd, Venus goes retrograde.
Right. Everyone knows Mercury retrograde. Don't sign contracts, your computer crashes. But Venus retrograde, that hits differently, doesn't it?
It hits the heart and the wallet. And this one is in Scorpio.
Oh boy. Scorpio is intense.
Scorpio is the detective of the zodiac. It rules secrets, intimacy, shared resources. So this isn't just a misunderstanding over dinner. This is dredging up old intimacy issues. Past partners might resurface, the classic ex appearing in your DMs, or old financial entanglements with partners could pop up again.
So what's the advice? If you're riding high from the summer of love and then October hits, do you just panic?
You don't panic, but you pause. The advice is to use the fall to heal trust issues. Do not start new wars, and most importantly, make no major relationship decisions until mid-November. If you feel like breaking up, wait. If you feel like proposing, wait.
Let the fog clear first.
Exactly. Venus retrograde in Scorpio really distorts our perception of value and love. Just sit tight.
Okay, wise counsel. Now, none of this, the career growth, the romance, the identity shift, none of it works if the vehicle breaks down. We need to talk about health.
Yeah.
And Saturn is playing a big role here too, right?
It is the primary role. Remember, Saturn is entering your first house. The first house is the physical body. It is the avatar you use to navigate the world. When Saturn is there, he demands maintenance.
Saturn is like the strict personal trainer.
The strictest. Saturn hates shortcuts. The source warns that the physical body is the main project of 2026. And the biggest trap for Aries is that boom and bust cycle.
Right, running on caffeine and adrenaline until you crash.
Exactly. Aries loves intensity. Go to the gym for 3 hours, then don't go for 3 weeks. Saturn will not reward that this year. The lesson is consistency over intensity.
So boring is better?
Sustainable is better. A daily walk. A strict sleep schedule. The source specifically mentions energy fluctuations around April and May. You might feel a sudden drop in vitality.
And if you ignore it, if you just try to push through with another espresso,
Saturn will force a stop. That's how Saturn works. If you don't rest voluntarily, you will be made to rest via burnout or illness. The stakes are high. Your success literally depends on sleep this year. You can't run a revolution on an empty tank.
it's so interesting how discipline keeps coming up. Discipline in spending, in health, in building that new identity. It's not a year for cutting corners.
No, it's a year of maturity. It really is about growing up.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. I want to make sure everyone listening has the roadmap clearly marked. We mentioned some specific dates. Let's do a rapid-fire recap of the power dates you need to memorize.
Okay, get your pens out. First one, we already mentioned it, but it's the big one, February 20th.
Saturn conjunct Neptune.
The Great Reset. This is the day for intention setting. You are deciding who you are becoming. Don't let this day pass without some kind of ritual or a clear decision.
Next up,
April 17th. This is the new moon in Aries.
that's your personal new year.
It is. It's the best day of the year to launch something. If you have that business idea or you want to debut a new look, do it on April 17th. The wind is at your back.
Then we have that big vibe shift.
June 30th. Jupiter enters Leo. This is when you come out of your shell. Extroversion, confidence, romance. Schedule your parties and your big pitches after this date.
And the caution flag.
October 3rd. Venus retrograde. Guard your heart, guard your wallet. Go internal for a bit.
It's really helpful to see the year in these chunks. It makes it feel more manageable.
It does. And it leads to the core remedy for the year. The source uses this beautiful image of the universe handing you a chisel.
A chisel.
Yes, you are the sculptor. The remedy for any anxiety or confusion this year is to stop playing small and be unafraid to chip away what no longer belongs. A chisel is a destructive tool, but it creates art.
That goes right back to the Saturn-Neptune idea. You have to chip away the stone to reveal the statue that's inside.
Exactly. And that requires force, but it also requires precision. You can't just hack away at it randomly. You need to look at your life and say, this habit doesn't belong to the new me. This fear doesn't belong to the new me. And then strike.
And a willingness to let go of the rubble.
That's the hardest part, letting the rubble fall away.
You know, the source material had a call to action involving a fire emoji, specifically to claim your power. And I think that really summarizes the attitude Aries needs to bring. It's not passive.
It's extremely active. You aren't watching 2026 happen to you. You are happening to 2026.
Bold beginnings. That's the phrase that stuck with me.
It's a perfect summary for this year.